Let's be real. You've got that business idea, right? The one you keep telling yourself you'll get to someday. Well, what if someday was this weekend? Today, we're going to break down how you can take that idea from just a dream into a real, actual money-making business in just 48 hours.
You know the feeling. You get this flash of genius. You're buzzing with excitement. You maybe tell a friend or two, and then, poof, nothing happens. The idea gets buried under a pile of what ifs, and I'm not ready yet, and I just need to do more research. It's that classic trap, analysis paralysis. And honestly, it's the #1 killer of amazing ideas.
So, our guide for this little adventure is Noah Kagan's book, $1 Million Weekend. And yeah, the promise is pretty out there. Launch a business that could be worth 7 figures in just 48 hours. I know, it sounds kind of crazy, maybe even impossible. So let's dive in and see if he can actually back it up.
Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question itself. Is this for real? Can you actually do this? I mean, this whole idea just completely challenges everything we've ever been told about business, you know? Those 5-year plans, the endless market research. Kagan's throwing all that out the window.
And this right here, this is the core of the whole thing. Kagan's big argument is that the biggest hurdle isn't building the perfect website or the perfect product. It's just starting. The whole point of his method is to smash through those mental blocks that stop us from taking that very first step. Because in the beginning, speed is so much more important than perfection.
So why is starting so hard? Well, according to Kagan, it usually boils down to 2 huge, massive fears. These are the monsters under the bed that stop almost every would-be entrepreneur in their tracks. So let's name them, and then let's figure out how to crush them.
Okay, first up, you've got the fear of starting. This is that little voice in your head that whispers all those doubts. You're not smart enough, you don't have enough cash, you're just not ready. Sound familiar? And then there's its evil twin, the fear of asking. This is that gut-wrenching terror of putting yourself out there and hearing someone say no. It doesn't matter if you're asking for a sale, for help, or hey, even a tiny discount. That fear is real. So what's the solution? Well, it's pretty weird, actually. Kagan says don't run away from rejection. You should run towards it. Seriously, he says you should aim to get rejected. The whole point is to collect no's. Why on earth would you do that? Because it totally changes how you think about failure. A no isn't the end of the world. It's just a data point. It's one step closer to getting that yes that you're looking for. So how do you practice this? He's got this simple, kind of brilliant little exercise he calls the coffee challenge. It's exactly what it sounds like. Next time you go to buy a coffee, just ask for 10% off. That's it. Look, the barista is probably going to look at you funny and say no. And that's the whole point. You're building your ask muscle. You're proving to yourself that that little moment of discomfort is just that, a moment. And rejection, it doesn't actually hurt. Okay, so you're building up that ask muscle. You're getting used to the idea of rejection. Now you need a system, a new way of thinking to actually get things done. And this next idea is basically your permission slip to just get started. It's called the now, not how method. It's a really simple but super powerful mental flip. You need to stop obsessing over how you're going to do everything perfectly and just focus on doing one thing now. You'll figure out all the little details along the way. The best way to learn is by doing, not by planning to do. Look, the goal here is super simple. Defeat procrastination with action. You are never, ever going to feel 100% ready. No one ever does. The real secret is just to start anyway, to begin before you feel prepared. Now, to give all this action some fuel, Kagan introduces this concept called the freedom number. And no, this isn't some giant, scary lifetime goal. It's just a specific, totally manageable monthly income that would give you a little breathing room, a feeling of freedom. Having that concrete short-term number makes it all feel so much more real and keeps you focused on what actually matters, getting some money in the door. All right, so all of this, facing your fears, the now, not how mindset, it all builds up to the main event. This is the big, actionable challenge that puts everything we've talked about into practice. So you want to know the #1 reason new businesses fail? It's not because they run out of money. It's not a bad marketing plan. It's because they spend months, sometimes years, building something that it turns out nobody actually wants to pay for. Kagan's entire system is built to avoid that one catastrophic mistake. And it all comes down to one word: validation. The entire weekend challenge boils down to just 2 numbers. The first number is 3.
3 paying customers in just 48 hours. That's it. That's the entire goal. Your job isn't to build a website or design a logo or incorporate a company. Your only job is to find 3 real people who will give you real money for your idea before you've even built it. So let's be super clear. The goal here is not to deliver a finished product. The goal is to prove your idea is worth something, to prove you found a problem that people want solved so badly that they will literally pay you for a solution that doesn't even exist yet. It all comes down to asking that one terrifying but incredibly powerful question: would you pay for this? And Kagan gives you 3 super practical ways to actually get this done. 1, you can just directly ask your friends, your family, your coworkers to pre-order whatever it is. 2, you can list a virtual version of your product on a site like Facebook Marketplace or eBay and just see if anyone bites. Or 3, you can whip up a simple one-page website, throw a few bucks at some ads, and just see if people are interested enough to sign up.
So, let's say you do it. You run your experiment over the weekend. Now what? Well, that brings us to the real secret to success, the thing that happens after the weekend is over. That weekend launch? That's not the finish line. That is the starting gun. A real business isn't just one big event. It's a constant, never-ending cycle of trying stuff. You run an experiment, you learn from it, you adapt, maybe you fail, and then you try something else. True success comes from that resilience, from that willingness to just keep iterating. Ultimately, you can boil down the entire philosophy of this book into these 5 simple words. It's not about having one perfect start. It's about having the guts to start in the first place, and then having the resiliency to start again and again and again. So that leaves us with one final, and maybe the most important question. Let's bring this all back to you. Forget about a $1 million business for a second. What's one tiny experiment you can run this weekend? Can you try that coffee challenge? Can you text 3 friends about that one idea you have? Because the real goal here isn't just to listen to this. It's to go from thinking to doing. Your journey starts now.